A very warm welcome to all of you crackpot marketers tuning in. Coming up on today's show, streaming TV is headed lower in the sales funnel. WPP is looking to shed its PR agency amidst restructuring. Spotify's AI is coming for your playlists. All that, plus a spotlight on Budweiser's big drop and Sunny D on today's show. If you work in the great industry of marketing, advertising, or PR, give us 10 minutes and we'll give you a firmware update you won't forget anytime soon. Let's go. Welcome to the crew of Artemis 2's favorite show about marketing. I'm Matthew Newell.
And I'm Chris Stone. And this 10-minute action-packed episode isn't lost in space. It's chock full of marketing goodness. And like that tasty tang and zero gravity, it's totally underrated. Matthew, are you ready for liftoff, my dude?
I am. Here's everything you need to know about an industry that keeps yelling, friend or foe, when AI is knocking at the front door. Chris, today's lead headline, streaming and connected TV is increasingly being treated as performance marketing channels, not just awareness plays. That means here's the traditional marketing funnel. At the very top, we have awareness. That's where platforms like Roku, Netflix, and other streamers have been for over a decade. However, because of increased consumer adoption, plus the introduction of interactable ads, those platforms are increasingly at the bottom of the funnel, meaning they directly convert into a sale. What does this mean for marketers like us? While these platforms aren't as efficient at converting as Google and Amazon and Facebook, because they basically were created as conversion machines, they're getting there and fast. It might be worth throwing a few dollars their way to start now experimenting with your product.
So you're telling me that Netflix went from we don't do ads to click here to buy a mattress in like 3 years? I mean, the only funnel moving faster than streaming is maybe like my coffee budget.
Next up in our marketing queue, British ad agency WPP, aka Wine and Piping Pros, are exploring the sale of their PR shop. We recently covered them on this show. The ad giant is going through a major reorg into 4 different divisions: WPP Media, WPP Creative, Production, and Enterprise Solution. So when I saw WPP Media, I assumed that PR would have an obvious place to land. But the Times out of the UK is reporting that Goldman Sachs is exploring, quote unquote, strategic options for the comms agency Burnson, which is WPP's PR centerpiece. Burnson employs 6,000 people worldwide. And if any of y'all get laid off because of this, I will make my couch available to you personally.
Exploring strategic options. That's Wall Street for we're putting almost dead Grammys China on eBay. And Matthew, your couch, brother, layoffs in a pool of 6,000 people, they aren't going to fit on your sectional. You're going to need like white hat marketing WeWork.
Done. Well, I'm taking it out of our budget. Our final headline: Spotify has rolled out a new feature called Promoted Playlists, and it's interesting. It's a conversational music discovery tool that they were testing in, wait for it, New Zealand, and it is now being rolled out in the US and Canada. Racist. It's different from a traditional marketing playlist, because the user, in their own words, can describe what they want to hear. No need to know artists, genres, or any musical lingo. From a music lover perspective, I like this because it will likely introduce more people to more new music. Always a good thing. I see Chris shaking his head. We'll get to the rebuttal in a second. From a marketing perspective, I love this because emotions are what sells products and services. If someone is in hype mode, get that Nike ad in front of them. If someone's in love, get them those jewelry commercials in their ear. However, as you'll read in a new book I'm putting out on April 23rd, White Hat Marketing, knowing someone's emotions is not an invitation to manipulate them. Marketing responsibly, more next week, naturally.
Yeah, Matthew, of course I hate this. But my rebuttal is this is Spotify promoting the big green circle logo. This is Spotify promoting Spotify. I love Spotify because they gave me this music that made me feel a certain way. I don't feel like people will then dig in and click 68 times to find some artist on their I Feel Happy playlist that they created. So Spotify is going to let people type "I'm sad and it's raining" and then get served the same 10 Billie Eilish tracks everyone else gets. Congratulations. We just turned the world's biggest music library into a mood ring that sells, that's going to try to sell you Zoloft on the side. Get off my lawn. Back in the day when we were sad, we just dug out our Smiths records and cried alone in our rooms like real teenagers.
It's true. It's true.
All right, Matthew, it's time for our favorite segment, or at least mine, and that is Real. Recognize Real. And this one goes out to Budweiser, who just dropped a masterclass on how you flex a sponsorship without making it feel like a boardroom PowerPoint. 40 years as the official beer of the FIFA World Cup, 4 decades. And instead of slapping a "thank you for 40 years" banner on a webpage and calling it heritage marketing, they did something actually pretty cool. They built an 11-piece limited edition bottle collection, one for every World Cup since Mexico in '86. Each one designed with the visual DNA of that tournament's era. It's not merch, it's a time machine in aluminum. And here's what gets very sharp. Every bottle has a QR code that drops you into era-specific digital content. So you're not just holding a can or bottle-shaped aluminum. You're unlocking Italia 1990, France 1998, the whole emotional catalog. They turned packaging into a portal. That's not a gimmick, Matthew. That is sweet, sweet architecture. Then they dropped the big drop, a hero film set to "You'll Never Walk Alone," the classic bop from 60s British beat group Jerry and the Pacemakers, where giant Bud bottles roll across continents into legendary stadiums reimagined as oversized ice buckets. Matthew, it's cinematic, it's absurd, and it totally works. Plus, the out-of-home campaign, they pulled real archival FIFA match photos where Budweiser's pitch side boards were already in the frame. They didn't create the legacy. They just popped a spotlight at 40 years of receipts. This is what happens when a brand actually has the history and doesn't waste it. Real, recognize real.
Well done, Budweiser. And think about their this is a pretty seamless rebranding from the last couple of years ago with Budweiser and Bud Light. Well done. Chris, I am changing my segment up just for Sunny D. For one time in this show, we're going to put on our responsible adult hats. Instead of Real, Recognize Real, this is Real, Recognize Ridiculous. We're going to talk about Sunny D, the orange drink. We can't call it orange juice. I don't think it has enough OJ in it. The orange drink was first introduced in 1963, is an alternative to orange juice, but it repositioned itself to the cool kids drink in the 1990s. But kids being the operative word here. So keep in mind, 10 years of marketing to kids in the 90s. So imagine my surprise when I was getting my daily handle of alcohol-free Jägermeister and I saw a 4-pack of Sunny D, wait for it, vodka. So you're telling me it was a good idea to build up the Sunny D brand in kids' minds and then add liquor. Sunny D is not the first violator of what I think is a red line. Mountain Dew has a hard version. Minute Maid, Arizona Iced Tea have all headed in this direction. But how can I be the first one to say this? Stop it. Stop it. There should be no direct line between kids and alcohol products.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're all grown up, you're still advertising to kids and still positioning a brand as kids friendly. And I'll leave the drink makers with one more question. What is more thin, your margins or your moral code for children's responsibility and safety?
Ouch. Yeah. I mean, I spent my childhood chugging Sunny D out of that weird shaped bottle and pretending it was real juice. And now they want me to chase it with vodka. Matthew, it doesn't sound like a brand extension. It's more like a custody hearing and a headache waiting to happen.
It's exactly right. I'm ashamed. I'm just gonna leave it there and we're gonna move on. Shame!
Shame.
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 All right, Chris, let's play. Let's wrap up the show with wrong answers only. Only questions about marketing and advertising. Of course, even better, only wrong answers. Chris, if you were to bottle your professional skills and then name them like a fancy interior paint color, what would you call it?
This one right here, and for those that are listening with their earballs, it's beige, but I'd call it never beige because I'd rather eat a microphone than be boring. It's actually a surprisingly bold taupe.
So wait a minute, are you going with never beige or are you going with bold taupe?
Never beige.
Never beige.
Because I am never beige. It's my quest to never be beige, but it is kind of a bold taupe.
I'm gonna. You see, you hedged it again. So I'm gonna go with saffron ridiculousness.
Ooh,
that's my paint color. I just made that up on the spot. That's not bad.
I can smell that. That's beautiful. Is it a scented paint? More like a scratch and sniff? That's marketing. Scratch and sniff.
Yes, we will make it scratch and sniff.
All right, that's it for this week's Marketing, Machines, and Mischief. But before you go, make sure you click the little like button, the subscribe, the bell, and then reach on your screen and do a little scratch and sniff as well. But before we go, we have a little
lesson learned. Don't put alcohol in kids' products. You fools!